And so you have arrived here on planet Earth, but primarily this evening, you've arrived here to be duly reminded that you're on a journey of self-discovery and the activation of spiritual qualities, that you may stand strong and become impervious to the world of the temporal zone, and to be consciously aware that you're bringing such richness and such potency and such power into the world. If you reach back a little bit and remember a couple of weeks ago when I said that the new norm is progression and outstretch, I reminded you that the theme is that the new norm is progress, unfoldment, evolution, you becoming more you, so that as you're becoming more you, it has the tendency to handle any issue that you may be facing, and that you're arriving on the planet not outreaching but outstretching. Not outreaching to get something, but outstretching with what you already have. And so there's an extension and an outstretching of the love and the peace and the abundance, the ingenuity and the resourcefulness that looks like to many people that you've reached out and grabbed something, but in reality you've reached out from within with it and made it visible from the depth of your being. So you have arrived here and you're unpacking with your spiritual practice that you already have everything, and now you're stretching out. You're outstretching with the good. The theme of our evening continues to be turning the other cheek, forgiveness, and real freedom. Areas that we can always uncover to a greater and greater degree. And oftentimes when people hear on the spiritual path about turning the other cheek, they have a tendency to think that perhaps Jesus Christ was speaking about masochism on some level. That if someone smites you on one cheek, turn the other one, let them hit you again. And this type of thing. And of course, being the brilliant spiritual genius that he was not speaking in such literal terms, slap me, slap me, slap me. He wasn't speaking at that level. He was talking about metaphorically turning and giving another energy for an energy that's coming in your direction. When in fact you become more involved with your real nature and being, you realize that when you're in the world, you move to a level where you're not arguing with people. You're having a tendency to argue with an issue rather than an individual. And when you're arguing with an issue rather than an individual, you seek to take things personally. And so when an individual comes at you with so-called negative energy, you don't turn the other cheek to be hit again with negative energy. You turn the other cheek and give a much more affirmative, uplifting, positive energy to the degree that you've become free in yourself. You can't do this unless there's a modicum of freedom. You can't do this unless there's a modicum of expanded awareness. You can't do this unless there's a modicum of spiritual practice that allows you to separate yourself from taking things personally and stepping into an awareness that you're basically arguing with an issue, not with a person. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes. So in this turning the other cheek, meaning giving another form of energy, means that you have separated yourself from taking something personally and are stepping into awareness as to what? Who you are. As to what? Who you are as a spiritual being. As to what? Who you are as an emanation of the Most High God, untouched by time and circumstance. And of course, we can hold this at an abstract or a metaphysical level, or you can get down in spiritual practice, dust yourself off, and pray and meditate and affirm and study and fellowship until there becomes a burgeoning awareness as to who you are as a spiritual being. And then that vibration allows you to become impervious to energies that would seem to come in your direction, and you're able to not just sideswipe with them, but you're able to look them in the eye and see that it has nothing to do with you at all. It has something to do, as the principle says, when any energy goes out, it's always stamped with return to sender. Everything that comes is always return to sender. And so when you're able to look at everything that seems to be coming in direction, and you're able to stand in your truth and your awareness, I don't mean your personal truth, I'm talking about the transcendent truth, capital T truth, when it becomes yours as you own it consciously, then you're able to turn and give another energy. Sometimes it's compassion. Sometimes it's patience. Sometimes it's kindness. Sometimes it's a level of love. Sometimes it's prayer. But you're able to turn the other cheek and give the other vibration, which means you have become strong in your real self and in your real nature. These are all ways that lead to freedom. We're going to get to that in a minute. Freedom. I want you to just contemplate that word, freedom. So turning the other cheek allows you to step into a vibration of freedom, otherwise unknown from the reactionary mind that takes everything personally and gives as good as it gets, so to speak. And then there's this dynamic of forgiveness. Now, the lack of forgiveness is one of the highest states of self-abuse. The lack of forgiveness is one of the highest states of self-abuse. Because you're saying to the universe, send that energy again. I want to experience that again. I'm going to hold on to this resentment. I'm going to hold on to this rancor. I'm going to hold on to this unforgiveness. And I want to experience it over and over and over again. So unforgiveness is a high state of self-abuse because the message and the signal that's going out is, I want more of this. And this is particularly true when you are holding yourself hostage for some mistake that you may have made. That sense of unforgiveness creates a cyclical loop in the mind, along with the toxic chemicals that go with it, and it becomes a very addictive circumstance where the body temple is concerned and the mental body, and it becomes a loop of self-abuse and self-absorption and ego domination that you only feel good when you feel bad. You only feel good when you feel bad. And your message becomes, I feel bad, therefore I am. I have drama, therefore I am. It's a reverse of the life principle that is within you, that is leading you into levels of bliss and ecstasy. Levels of joy and well-being, unbound by circumstance, nor determined by circumstance. A bliss and an ecstasy, as the reading reminded us by Angela Richardson today, that can come in a moment that you let go and you say, just for today. Just for this moment. Just for this nanosecond. Just for this instant. I'm willing to let it be all right.